With Terry, we might run out of adjectives for Harvey, especially after last night where, hey, he allowed an infield hit in 9 innings. What else could you possibly say? I mean, that's as close to perfection as you can come. Shame they didn't get him a win, though, Terry. That's the only thing I would say about that brilliant performance.
Mike, that's exactly right. I mean, we talked about it on the bench when we took him out in the 9th inning. We said there's no reason that guy it's a shame that a guy pitches like that and through 9 innings and we can't get him any runs to work with. But I'll tell you what, we won the game because Matt Harvey did what he did.
Well, yeah, he did. A brilliant performance, no question about it. And, there's probably going to be a lot of nights like that. I mean, he's going to flirt at times, especially against overmatched lineups. He's going to flirt sometimes with performances like this.
Well, Mike, if you pitch like he did last night, and I don't care who the lineup is, to be honest, when this guy's got command of all his pitches, which he did last night, and and we know when he pitches against the lineups that are a little bit more, got some better names in it, this guy steps it up even more as far as velocity goes. So, last night he pitched 94, 95. That game against Strasburg, he was 96, 97 most of the night. So we know it's in there. But when he had the command of his changeup like he did last night and his breaking ball, he's going to be really tough to hit.
I mean, 76 strikes, 29 balls. I mean, that is unbelievable.
It was unbelievable. Just the composure. He had a situation early in the game that against Dwayne Wise, who fouled off about 7 pitches, and he had him 3-2, threw him a changeup. He just got a piece of it, and then comes back with a better one, and he swings and misses. And I mean, this kid's you don't see young pitchers do that. The one thing you think, hey, I want to walk this guy. It's a 0-0 game, and yet still went with the pitch that was going to get an out. And that's for me what separates him from other guys.
I don't know if you guard against this feeling, Terry, but there is now this gap between the Harvey games and the other games. And, I don't know if that's something a manager can do anything about this. I mean, what can you do about one pitcher's brilliance on a team that is still struggling? But there is a huge gap between his games now and the other games.
Well, what you hope, Mike, to be honest, is that the other guys start to really buy into it and really start to compete against one another to where, not that everybody realizes they don't have the same stuff that Matt has, but there's no reason why they can't do the same similar things, and that is pound the strike zone. Where we've been hurt in some of these other games, just like John's game the other day, is that, he just didn't have the command of his stuff that he normally has. And when he's got command, he stays in the game. He pitches a good game, and that's where I'm hoping that guys are saying, hey, look, it's about throwing strikes. It's about changing speeds. It's about, pitching inside, all the things that Matt does with great stuff that they should be able to do even with their stuff.
I think the reports this year, my reports this year have been very negative, so I'm trying to come up with a couple of positives today. Number one, Parnell's been good. I mean, even in his saves that he blew, he had excuses with the defense. He looks like he is starting to grow into the job.
Mike, I think he is. You and I have talked about this. He's just got a different demeanor on the mound. He now pitches with confidence. He knows that there's going to be nights you're going to give up a hit, and it's going to cost you. But you know what? He's not letting it get to him anymore. His breaking ball is getting better, but the command of his fastball is what the difference is. He's learning how to throw his good fastball up in the zone where he's getting swings and misses. He's really starting to develop, and that's why I said yesterday, when Frank Francesa comes back, Bobby Parnell is still going to be pitching the ninth right now.
And I want to also give some kudos to David Wright for a couple of at-bats. The at-bat 3-2 down with a runner on third and 2 out before the Valdespin home of the inning before was a great at-bat by him to get the base hit to right center field. And then taking Kimbrel out of the park, which no one ever does. I mean, that is a big at-bat. I mean, those are, and he's got 23 RBIs. He's got 20... No, he's got 20-something runs scored. He's got a 420 on-base percentage. You know what? He's in a tough lineup. He's doing his job right.
He is doing his job, Mike. He's the pro. That's why he's the captain. I mean, he is who he is. This guy is a star, and there's no one part of his game that he doesn't prepare for. I think he's second in the league in triples. He's got 5 stolen bases. We're a team that doesn't steal bases, and he's got 5. He plays third base as good as anybody I've ever seen. There's no part of his game that slips, and yet he prepares himself in every way. And if we can get him some help in the middle of that lineup, it's going to be different.
Now, tell me this: how can Duda and Ike have 10 home runs and basically 18 RBIs. Duda, it's almost a mathematical impossibility to have 6 homers and 10 RBIs and 5 doubles. It's almost like you would have to almost try to do that. It's impossible. You get 6 RBIs for the 6 homers. You only got 4 RBIs in every other at bat on the season. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, that might be one of the big reasons we might not be getting the right guys on in front of him. One of the things that we've tried to get Lucas to understand, we were very, very happy with the fact that he's drawing the base on balls, but he's a run producer. And, right now, there's some situations where the teams are pitching around him. And the one thing about him, and that he's not swinging at balls out of the zone to get himself out, and so he's getting some base on balls, but we've got to have somebody else pick up the load, and that's why, Mike, I've said it from the first day. This team's not going to function with 1 or 2 guys. It's going to take 8 or 9 guys that every day somebody's picking up somebody else that, hey, if they want to pitch around David Wright, then John Buck's got to get a big hit. If they pitch around John Buck one night, you know what, Lucas Duda's got to come up with a big hit, and that's the way we're going to have success. We're not going to ride one guy in the middle of our lineup like anybody, just pretty much like anybody else's team. We can't do that.